So we're going to draw the Lewis dot structure for an ammonium ion. So our first step is to count the valence electrons for the ion. So there's one nitrogen, which has 5 valence electrons, and then hydrogen has only 1. But there are 4 hydrogen, so we multiply 1 by 4. So that gives us 8. But there's a negative charge, so we lose, there's 9. We lose 1 because of the negative charge. So that gives us 8 electrons to work with. So we put nitrogen, which is electronegative, in the middle, and where there's 4 hydrogens. So we add those around. So now it's time to put in the 8 valence electrons. So nitrogen has to bond to each hydrogen ion. So we'll make a bond with each of them. But that gives us 8 electrons. So there are now no more electrons to be added to this. So we can draw the structure. But we can't forget about the positive charge. So we add our brackets and add the charge, and that is the Lewis dot structure for an ammonium ion. Next, we'll do a cyanide ion. So just like in the first problem, we have to count the valence electrons for the ion. So carbon has 4, and nitrogen, as we found out in the first problem, has 5. But there's a negative charge, so that negative charge gives us 1 more electron to work with to give us a total of 10 electrons. So we draw our structure, and now it's time to add the electrons. So we notice that we must put a bond here. So that gives us 8 more electrons to work with. So we'll add some here, some here, some here. And so that is all 10 electrons. But carbon here doesn't have a full octet. So we'll take these ions here and add them there. So we'll have a new structure. But carbon still only has 8. So we have to take another set of these electrons here and add them to the carbon molecule. So that'll be written in there. So that is our final structure. Our final structure will look like this. And if you notice, each atom has 8. So it's time to draw our final structure, which will look like this. And it's time to add the brackets and then add our negative charge. So there's our final cyanide Lewis dot structure. And for our third ion, we'll do a nitrite ion. And so to count up the valence electrons, nitrogen still has 5, and oxygen has 6. But there are 2 there are 2 oxygen atoms, and we have to account for the negative charge. So that gives us a total of 18 valence electrons. So we have to start drawing the structure. So we put N, put here in the middle, and we'll put an O on either side of it. And we add simple chemical bonds. So that is 4, so we have 14 left, so we start filling them in. So we see, now that we have this, notice that nitrogen here does not have a full valence shell. So we take those electrons, and we add them to this here. So with our new structure, would look like this. But since these bonds are different, we'll have to have a resonance structure which will look like this. And we add the brackets and the charge. And the bracket, and put the charge back, and that is your final resonance structure for the nitrite ion.